Abusuani komo awo chani so ahasi each politics abadi. Podcast also nya a trend ya make we headlines ne jemre na iribi exumbo. Eni iri nya roxy mu Office of the Special Prosecutor so ye na mede woko. Na me no ka say ipakuo bi adrage minority leader of parliament Alexander Afenyo Markins. Na ni nyina afa allegation of extortion. Onya me no ka say samejam fi ba bonten so ebe allege say papa no bu run office na obuseska bi on ho say empania pa on feska no ema no say be ya minority caucus no bitimi aka omo ano atum efa nsema ekoso ewo good board aso ye na eno enama project fire no edi ato screen so edi ama wo no. Or say Office of the Special Prosecutor has taken notice of public allegation of extortion and related conduct made by Chief Executive of Ghana Good Board, Sami Jemfi, against the minority leader of Parliament, Alexander Afenyo Markins. The OSP also acknowledges a joint petition submitted by two persons as well as two separate petitions submitted by other persons in relation to the allegation. Given the nature of the allegation, the OSP will access the case and determine whether it falls within its statutory mandate and whether further investigation action is warranted. Intonia, Yenya Afenyo Markins, and Yasam Kotopra, Eja Ego de Chu. Mr. Say, your moon run away, Abra, Jemre, na Owi Chumu, Efa in Samahodu Timifigu or Efa Good Board. Aha, age politics Albany.
Over the last week, and you've been raising a lot of concerns about the losses, not at Gold Board, but Gold Board operations, which IMF also put into its document. What are the figures? We are not saying that Gold Board has made losses. Bank of Ghana had made losses at Joy News, but from where you sit, based on the IMF document, what is your position or the minority's position on the IMF document put out regarding the losses?
Carlos, thank you for the opportunity. When a document speaks plain language, there's no point in interpretation. And what I was taught at the law school, in reading a document, you read it as a whole. You don't read one paragraph and leave the other. The entire construct must be given its full meaning so that the effect could be achieved. So what you read, you started from somewhere, you didn't finish. So I will finish it. And I'm starting from where you started, the paragraph 13. This is what the IMF said, quote, in 2025, the significant scaling up of the domestic gold purchase program operations led to losses of over $1.7 billion, into bracket 1.5% of GDP. Almost entirely related to the gold for reserve Dory purchases. This amounted to a loss of 17% of value of the Dory gold sold by Bank of Ghana. Full stop. The next sentence. Losses accrued on gold trade are a combination of service and after fees paid to Gold Board, discount on gold sold to off-takers, and most importantly, exchange rate losses from the spread between the Forex Bureau rate paid to purchase gold and the CD reference rate used for Bank of Ghana accounting. See figure 7. It goes further. Survey data suggests that Ghanaian artisanal gold mining prices are among the highest in the region. Full stop. Next line. These accounting losses partly reflect valuation effect rather than economic cost, but they still weaken the BOG balance sheet and imply transfers to recipient of FX at the reference rate. Then it goes on and on. Now, let's break it down. The IMF, before they come out with their final reports, they discuss drafts with government. When the IMF comes in, they don't just... Yeah. I need to give a background so that the mischief players would understand how IMF operates. because I know the mischief out there.
So we just want to know the fact. Ghanaians are interested in the fact, not the mischief.
Very well.
Really. Yeah.
When the IMF come, they don't come with their data. They come and audit what we have done by way of policy implementation. So upon scrutinizing the books, based on the very data that government gave them, they did their report, they discussed the draft, government agreed to the final draft, which resulted in the final report, which was published this very month in August. If you read this report, clearly...
Where in the document? I also have that same document.
Okay, go on. Read. I have read.
Yes. So
you start from where you started.
The portion you read.
In 2025, you started from 2025. I want to rely on
where you just read. I want you to tell us where specifically
the
gold board has been blamed for the $1.7 billion.
Let me repeat.
Yep.
Let me repeat it. In 2025, the significant scaling up of the domestic gold purchase program operations led to losses of over $1.7 billion. That is 1.5% of GDP. Almost entirely related to gold for reserve Dory purchases.
So we can end it there?
No, we can't end it. Wait.
Okay.
I did the interpretation.
All right.
My law is not weak.
No problem.
Good. That's semicolon. There's semicolon there.
There is, yes.
Yes. This amounted to a loss of 17% of the value of Dory gold sold by BOG. Full stop.
Sold by BOG.
Full stop. Stop there. Next line.
No, so I'm struggling to really understand.
No, wait.
Where
Carlos, are you waiting for?
Yes. Okay. Proceed.
The next sentence.
Yes.
So
proceed.
Come. Don't
proceed.
Do anything. Next line. Losses accrued on gold trade are a combination of service and asset fees paid to gold board. Is there?
How and why are you linking this to no? Why are you linking this to the $1.7 billion loss?
Okay.
How is this one related to that?
Okay.
Explain to us.
Okay. Language. First of all, this report has first stated the losses in the first paragraph. So you saw a semicolon, and then you saw a
link before the semicolon. It's linked it to the Bank of Ghana.
Yes, don't worry. We are coming there.
Okay.
We are coming there.
Right.
They did not examine gold board books. They examined Bank of Ghana books. It's Bank of Ghana report we are dealing with. This has to do with BOG.
Yes. Talking about BOG. Maybe I made a mistake. But right. BOG, I was referring to Bank of Ghana. Yeah.
So don't divert the argument.
Okay.
Follow that. When they stated the losses, the next stage was to give those who will read it the causes of the losses. Why Bank of Ghana incurred those losses.
Okay.
So they use the next paragraph, therefore, to now explain. So now let's go to the next sentence. The next sentence now says, losses accrued on gold trade are a combination of service and asset fees paid to gold board.
Okay. Can I
We have not finished.
No.
Wait.
No.
You don't want us to finish?
We are doing interpretation.
So let me finish reading the entire thing.
Okay, proceed.
When we are done with the entire
Sure.
So let me finish the entire thing.
All right.
Once I am done, then we can ask the question.
Proceed,
but
because
if we
of
are
time.
No, then we
you
need
proceed.
more.
No
Yes,
problem.
sure. If we want to do justice, we need to all
Sure.
relax.
Go ahead.
Have a very good interaction.
Sure.
If we rush ourselves, the viewers may fall into a trap of
let's
misunderstanding us. Good.
Yep.
So now Bank of Ghana is explaining the cause of the $1.7 billion, equivalent of 22 billion. So the next sentence starts. Losses accrued on gold trade are a combination of service and asset fees paid to gold board, discounts on gold sold to off-takers, and most importantly, exchange rate losses from the spread between the Forex Bureau rates paid to purchase gold and the CD reference rate used for BOG accounting. So there is a full stop there. So now we can deal with it. Now, if you have followed the argument of gold board, one of the arguments has been that they buy the gold, they sell to BOG, the rates that they use is accounting for the losses that we are talking about.
But that is not the understanding I'm getting from the document.
Wait, can I finish?
Okay, right. Proceed.
Please, cool down. 2, some services are being charged. Now, if you go further, the report also saying that the artisanal gold in Ghana is the highest in the region. Now, who in 2025, who was given the sole mandate to buy artisanal gold? Gold board. You read it by law. We gave them monopoly over artisanal gold. No other agency sells gold to BOG apart from Gold Board. I appoint the aggregators who buy, they give them money to buy, sell to them, and they also sell to Bank of Ghana. So if Bank of Ghana, IMF is saying that artisanal gold is the highest in Ghana, is the highest in the region, that again is connected to Gold Board because they are the sole buyers of artisanal gold when the law came into being. The third bit that we must not forget, don't forget that government has been arguing that indeed the activities of Gold Board has helped to stabilize our economy and that we should look at those losses as economic costs. Now, if you read the report, the IMF is countering that argument, and I read it again. These accounting losses partly reflect valuation effect rather than economic cost. So straight away, the argument of government with respect to economic cost is defeated because from the report, the IMF is basically talking about policy failure. That look, you have this policy which you are trumpeting as a policy that is helping you stabilize your economy. However, the design of the policy, the nature thereto, and all the losses that you are incurring is affecting your own economy. And they give you some pointers. One, that even the artisanal gold, which the dory that you are buying, the Gold Board is buying and selling it to you, Bank of Ghana, is the highest. So if something that you are buying, that is why we said, "Wunton gold na wunboka, wunton gold na wunboka." We said that. Now the point is that if IMF is comparing gold, artisanal gold in the sub-region, and telling you that in Ghana, your artisanal gold is too expensive, it is the highest in the sub-region. You didn't dispute that. Now they are connecting that also to the losses because obviously, if Gold Board is buying expensive and selling to Bank of Ghana, Bank of Ghana is doing the export. You cannot, in one breath, saying that the gains must be attributable to you, but the losses there too in the value chain, as for you and found, you don't really care. You wouldn't be making a complete statement. I think that the whole policy has serious weaknesses, and that's exactly what IMF identified. Look, we are not here on an emotional expedition. We are not here talking about Afenyo marking against somebody. We are dealing with government policy. We in opposition have a duty to the people of Ghana. Our duty is to point out these and draw government's attention to these failures and ask for remedial steps. Because you see, 22 billion Ghana cedi, you have hospitals. The government is struggling to complete the Agenda 111. Government says that it doesn't have even 6 billion to employ some teachers and nurses. We have a lot of our
So of course, this is an issue that
who are home. They've completed College of Nursing. They have completed College of Education. Look at the turf war between the Education Ministry and the Finance Ministry. All because Finance Ministry is saying that there are no funds. But through policy failure, you are incurring these losses. These are matters that government must pay attention to and respond. And we are saying, we the minority are saying that if you connect all the dots, forget about the gold board audited account. And I say
why do we have to leave the gold board audited account?
I will explain to you.
Because the IMF, I've given you some time.
Very well, go ahead.
The IMF document is saying otherwise. So why do we need to leave the gold
Carlos,
board?
Take away the language otherwise. I think we've read about 3 times this same piece. You have it, I have it. Let's share it with the viewing public. Don't say IMF said otherwise. IMF did a breakdown and connected all the dots. And from what IMF has said, the fair conclusion, therefore, is that the losses as registered in the BOG books are as a result of gold board operations and activities. Simplicity. Now, why do I say we should not pay too much attention to the gold board audited account financials? We shouldn't pay too much attention to it because it wouldn't give you the full picture. Now,
but you said we should read this in the broader sense,
exactly.
in a broader sense,
so,
to understand. So why do we have to do that, leaving the gold board audited account? Because we also need to respect.
You and I on the same page. Relax, Carlos. Take it easy. I am saying that don't read gold board audited account, isolate it and say in their books there are no recorded losses and say it's fair complete. Don't read the IMF reports alone and also say that in this report the losses are attributable to BOG and leave it there. These are 2 documents. Combine them. That is the basic rule of interpretation. At least my law professor taught me that. So I am saying that reading all the documents, gold board receiving some 4.5 billion 2 days to the end of the year, gold board being financed by BOG in the first 9 months of its operations until the IMF raised the red flags. And the IMF giving us a breakdown that the losses that they have spotted in Bank of Ghana books are as a result of the forex losses, the asset fees, the services, fees that they pay to gold board. They again also go further to say that the price we pay for artisanal gold in Ghana within the period under review is the highest in establishment.
Which you have already stated.
Which
you've already
very
stated.
well. Which also goes directly to gold board because in the law we gave both gold board 2 mandates. Mandate number 1, regulatory. Mandate number 2, monopoly in terms of control, purchasing. So no artisanal gold can be sold anywhere in Ghana. It becomes even a criminal offense if you don't sell to gold board. So once the IMF is raising a red flag and saying that, look, even the Dory gold that you buy is expensive. Once they raise the issue of the cost, you know the Dory gold? It is the gold in that raw state.
Sure.
You have not refined it, you've not done any assaying and all that. Now, if you buy that gold at the world market price, and Bank of Ghana does the refinery, or the gold is processed and is still sold at the world market price, okay? You realize that ab initio, you are going to incur losses because the cost, the price at which you are buying is expensive. When you finish, there are some processing, there are some charges, forex losses. All we are saying is that instead of gold bond being emotional in response to us, they should pay attention to the content of the report and all the issues we're raising. And government must now sit down and do a proper review, which review would lead them to a conclusion that there are some gaps in the policy implementation and they have to fix it. As we speak, the 22 billion is a financial loss to the state.
But you know, let me just
they want to argue.
You know that the policy was actually introduced by the the NPP government somewhere in 2024. And they also made some losses about some $400 million.
Oh, Carlos.
How do you explain that?
I would explain to you. We introduced the policy. In opposition, our friends critiqued the policy. They said it was bad because of the losses there too.
Who made the losses then?
At the time, we didn't have gold board.
Yeah, no. But
At
PMMC,
yeah. All those players in the domestic gold purchase program with all the...
Way is someone who is in cause or channel, so mommy and also Jim Ray, as an so what in the Dumbe, Onia, Ever Sang Aso.